Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. What do we do with our adult children? How do we deal with empty nest syndrome? Who the hell are we if we aren't parents? How do we discover how we should be when they are not around? Should we keep helping them? How do we help them launch into adulthood? So many questions are going to be tackled in today's episode. You know, adult children, they require a complete 360. We need to change our strategy, we need to change our approach, and we need to treat them in a completely new way. Many of us parents struggle. We still want them to be our babies, but we still want them to grow up. But they get caught in between our double messages. So I'm going to help you discover the right way forward with your adult children. Coming up next, a mother of 3 adult children who feels really guilty about letting them go and finding her own path forward. We're now going to meet Mitzi. Mitzi is a mother to 3 adult children and is feeling a bit guilty about letting them go and finding herself again. Hi, Mitzi. I'm so happy you're here with us. Tell us what's going on.
Hi, Dr. Shefali. Thank you so much for having me. I'm at the point in my life where all 3 of my kids have graduated from school and have started their lives on their own. And it's time for me to step back into a new identity or step into a brand new identity. And although I'm working on it, I feel a lot of guilt, a lot of strain around the idea that I'm just leaving them on their own. Have I done enough? Am I finished? How do I step into this new woman that I'm supposed to be? I feel like I'm on the brink of being able to be fulfilled and self-actualized in a whole new way, but I'm not quite sure how to do that because they're still there. I'm still their mom, and their lives are not perfect yet.
Right. I totally understand. I too have a daughter who's about to graduate next year. And it's so difficult because we have been so consumed by this identity of their mother that to now think of ourselves as, empowered women, not there at their beck and call, just feels like we're doing something so wrong and sinful and we feel guilty. So let me ask you, when you think of yourself in the next 5 years, what are some of your hopes and visions and dreams for yourself?
Oh, well, I think being able to build financial success in a different way than I have been able to do as a single mom, that's a big priority for me, to establish a future that I can feel stable about. I think living in a beautiful place that may not be close to all my children is a very tough thing to consider, and so things like that, just having a whole new life. And I think for me, stepping into a new career as well. So it's a lot of things. Everything is brand new for me at this stage. It's like it's my time to be able to shine, and I'm right on the cusp of doing that, but I feel like there's something holding me back. And I feel like the role of mother is something that keeps me really tethered. And I'm hoping to try and be the one that breaks that cord. You always talk about the children cutting the cord, but I think the mother has to cut the cord too.
100%. So the thing that is holding you back is this.
Okay, please help me.
Is actually when you were a little girl, you were never given the message that you were your own being. You, like many of us, were indoctrinated, ingrained, conditioned severely with this idea, this subconscious belief that who you are comes into light through your relationship with others. And you just said, I'm having a hard time stepping into my own light because you have so identified your worth with your relationships. The daughter, the friend, the mother, now the ex, but when you were a wife, I'm sure that was a big deal. So you see yourself through the eyes of serving others. And to now think of serving yourself feels like blasphemy.
That's very true. That's very true.
So serving others, no guilt, right?
No, that's my number one. That's my number one job. I've been serving others for decades and maybe my whole life.
Correct. So let me ask you, in what world, right? Say that was a rule. You are only good if you serve others. Just think about it for a second. In what world is that okay if we don't serve ourselves? Why is our being not valid to be served? Like, who said that the other is more important? Except society, right? Right? What if what if you saw me not serving Shefali, Dr. Shefali? Wouldn't you be upset that I was neglecting Dr. Shefali?
Yes, and also the same for my children. If I saw them not serving themselves, but giving everything up, sacrificing everything, but yet that's what I do. It's true.
So what you are in a nutshell is this: you are addicted to a very unhealthy belief system because you are agreeing rationally it makes no sense.
Right.
You've done your job. You've overdone your job. In most cultures, by 18, by 17, it's done. In indigenous cultures, even earlier. In our over-parenting, Western, over-excessive coddling world, we go all the way till 22. But you want to go all the way till what, 52?
Well, my youngest is 23, so I guess I've overextended my time.
You're welcome. Right, but here's the thing. You may think that this means you're a really loving mother, and I'm going to push you to realize that it has nothing to do with love. It actually has to do with your own dysfunction of fear to step into your own self-love. You're really not good at that.
I'd like to think that I am good at it. And I think there have been times in my life that I've been better at it. But you're hitting on something there for sure. It is hard for me to love myself above others.
Let's be honest. If you got an A++ in mothering your children, what grade would you give yourself in mothering yourself?
Oh, at this stage of life, B-.
Okay, at this stage, it's B-. So average would be what if you look back?
Oh, gosh. I think I probably would be in the C-B range in that regard.
And see, that's just acceptable to us. It should be unacceptable to you. So what I'm saying to you is that it's time to detox from this very dysfunctional marriage you have to this idea that you need to give others, overgive others, and feel guilty about giving yourself. There's a fundamental flaw in that belief system, and it is not fair to someone as beautiful, empowered, loving, kind as you. It's really your turn. There is such a thing as turn by turn, but in your book, there's no turn by turn. It's only their turn.
Thank you. I do feel as if I've been waiting for permission. And that's one of the reasons I was so excited to speak to you, because I had a feeling you'd be able to help me to not only give me that permission from you, but to help me to give that permission to myself.
Yes. When we women, and trust me, I'm very much like you, when we martyr ourselves and we abnegate our authority, we give it up in the guise, like my ego has told me sneaky things like, that's the way to be a good mother. Keep saying yes, keep being a puppet, keep being a slave, keep being, at their service. In my head, that's still associated with virtue. And only because I've realized that culture has given me that message and it's a lie, only then I have begun to detox from that very toxic message. So your toxic message is the same, that you need to be a victim martyr of other people's whims, fancies, including your children, other people. Now they're other people. They're no longer children. They are other people. Yes, you know what I mean. They'll always be your child, but come on, right? At which stage can we retire, right? Are we supposed to continue forever? But we have to give ourselves the permission. And we're not being good parents by clinging beyond our necessary role. going beyond our role is never a good thing. It's actually a crippling thing.
Mm-hmm. True. So can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What do you suggest when a single mom finally gets to the stage of life where she can be successful and be fulfilled and begins to rise to a new level, perhaps above the level of her children, where for decades, you know, in my case, we were all kind of together. It was me and the kids. And now it's me and they have their own thing. And I'm feeling like when I gain more success, more fulfillment in my own life, I feel like I have to still give that back to them. How do I step into the feeling of being able to keep it for myself and own it on my own?
Well, a couple of things. That's a great question. And again, you're such a caring person that you think of them first. But I think you need to first understand that when we overgive our children after the age of 22, and we go past their, childhood, way into mid-adulthood, and we keep enabling, giving them a crutch and sending them food, and it really, in a way, stunts their own hunger, right? We kill their fire. See, right now you have a fire. The reason I know I'm successful is I came to America with a fire. What we have done in our generation of over-coddling, over-parenting, over-indulging is we have killed the fire in our children. And then we wonder, why are they not successful? Now, one of the ways to kill the fire is to cut the cord lovingly, gently, like, hello, it's time. And that's it. And once you cut the cord, you begin to save. Now, when you one day pass on or transition into the next state of your existence, you're going to leave them everything anyway. So what is the incessant urgency to give everything up now? See, you're not even wealthy yet, but you're already afraid of what you're going to do with your wealth. Right? Now, this is another pattern you have in you, which is to associate wealth with greed or to associate wealth with hoarding, because you haven't even made the money yet, but you're already worried to hoard the money. Right? You can save the money, you can invest the money. You already feel bad that they don't have the money. Why don't you first get the money?
Well, yes, that's a good point. And there have been a lot of times when, actually more recently in my life, when I have gotten more financial success and that guilt comes up.
Because you've associated, having a little bit of money for yourself as if you're a hoarder, you're doing something sinful. You could give yourself a little bit of experiment. For the next 5 years, I'm just going to save my money and I'm just going to use it for myself. And then after 5 years, depending what I have, I'll begin to share my wealth. That way it'll ease your consciousness because you have a hard time keeping the money for yourself, right? You've associated wealth with greed or hoarding or something bad you're doing.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know that I consciously am aware of associating wealth with something bad, but I do feel like there are times when I'm just reluctant to keep it for myself. I'm reluctant to do that without giving back to the kids.
Right, right. And you can reframe that. Instead of saying I'm keeping it all for myself, you can say I'm investing to save for their future later if they need it. You can reframe the wisdom of not giving your money away.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. I never thought about the idea that eventually my kids would inherit from me in the long run.
And the money is better off with you than with them, trust me.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that physically, I have been very good at allowing them to live their own lives. And I've especially since they've all, now gotten on their own, I haven't really been overgiving as much as I have in the past, but it's more of a mindset thing. Like I have to stop myself from going over with a bag of groceries or, like you mentioned the food, which was very interesting because I think that's something we do. Well, not all of us.
I think we feel bad to suddenly only focus on ourselves. And we equate that with a fear of them feeling rejected, them feeling abandoned. But all of what you're saying is in your own head. It is not a reality because they absolutely need to feel on their own. In fact, feeling rejected or feeling like they're on their own is a very necessary developmental step. So even if they guilt trip you, mommy, you just left us, you've abandoned us, which is going to kill you, you need to say to yourself, oh, this is an important step. It's good. That means I'm doing the right thing. Just like we say when teenagers tell their parents, I hate you, we all know that's almost a very, normal thing for teenagers to do. It's part of their separation. In the same way, feeling alone in the big, big world is a very crucial developmental step after college. And children do feel that, and they do feel as if their parents have abandoned them. And actually, that's a healthy thing to go through.
That's a great way of reframing it. It's difficult as the parent to watch them struggling. I know that I cannot take away their life lessons. I need for them to learn them on their own. I understand that intellectually, but watching them go through those learning experiences is very difficult for me.
It's very difficult for a person like you who believes her mission on earth was to be of service 24/7. So of course, when you see them struggling, you're like, that's what I was here for. That's my mission. But your greater mission now is to really separate and not enmesh. You're very enmeshed with them in your mind. So it's time for you to differentiate. You have to become the teenager and you have to end the enmeshment and grow up.
That's a good point. Yes. Yeah. And, I think you're spot on. And there's something in my life that I point to, and I'm curious about your opinion. I lost my mom when she was only 56 and I'm now 57. So in that range. And there's been a lot of feelings, that have come up for me around that. And I wonder if I'm projecting that onto my kids, the idea that I don't have a mother. I don't ever want them to feel what I feel, the pain of not having a mother.
Well, I wish you had told me right away. Yes, that's it. You are projecting and you are overcompensating for the potential of them feeling that pain. But again, your mother literally physically passed away. You haven't, but you're acting as if you have. So you are big time overcompensating out of this guilt, out of this conditioning, out of trying to be on a mission to save. You're really overdoing it, and it's your breakthrough moment to shed the role. Actually, the passing of your mother is your invitation to not waste another moment in these emotions of lack and scarcity and fear. Her passing is your wake-up call now to live your rebirth life, to actually live the second coming of who you are. That's what your mother's death is inviting you to do, is don't kill yourself anymore. Remind yourself to live.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. That touches me. I mean, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
You were so open and vulnerable, and I really appreciate it.
You're giving me so much to think about. I'm going to have a lot to write in my journal tonight. Thank you, Dr. Shefali.
Oh, that mother's story really touched my heart. When we as parents remember losses in our life, then we quite automatically project that our children are going to experience similar kind of pain. So for example, I had a mother recently who was telling me about how when she was at a job, she felt like she didn't belong there, that she was ostracized from team meetings, that she wasn't part of the crowd. And then when her kindergartner wasn't invited for the popular girl's birthday party, the mother projected all these feelings on her 4-year-old. And when we made the connection, the mother was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. So it is with this mother, right? Her mother died at the same age she's at now. So because she remembers that loss and hasn't really integrated that pain, now any sort of separation from her children, she projects that her children are going to feel as if she's dead, but she's alive. It all speaks to how we as parents project onto our children The same feelings of loss, of fear, of guilt, of not belonging, of low self worth that we experienced in our past onto our children. So we have to be very careful as conscious parents and always ask, where is this coming from? Is this from me? Or is this really about the present moment situation? Well, the good thing about parenting is that there are many opportunities for us to mess up and bring in the past and destroy the present moment by our enmeshment with our memories. So let's be aware as we go on in our parenting to really pause and examine, is this about me or is this about them? Up next, a mother who is worried that her 24-year-old son, who's living with her, by the way, isn't adulting enough, and she is wondering how she can help him. Joining me now is Monica, a mother who wants to steer her 24-year-old son in the right direction without pushing him away. Hey, Monica, welcome. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, my son graduated in May, and he's a civil engineer. It took him 6 years, and it was not an easy road, right? He changed career, and during the pandemic, he was brilliant, but when you go in a school when everybody is so smart, it was hard for him. So he switched his electrical engineer to civil. Then after he was in the fraternity, and his grades start failing, and he has a co-op, they didn't hire him. So he has mental health issues. He dropped out of school when he was one semester and almost there to graduate. He had issues with my ex and myself, like he wanted to be a YouTuber. He wanted to follow his calling. He has an accident, and that accident like opened his mind. He wanted to be a YouTuber. He doesn't want to be a civil engineer anymore. I'm going to drop out of school. The car was totaled, and he was able to have some money, so he doesn't need us anymore. So it was very hard. He was able to, after a year, I was able to convince him to finish his degree, and now he moved on with me. And I'm trying to support him, that he still is like trying to find. He said he's sure he wants to be a YouTuber, a video game YouTuber. His channel is still, he started his channel 4 years ago. So I'm trying to guide him, right? But also because I'm following you, I try to do it consciously. I had to forget all about that. You go after and go immediately in the labor. So that's how I'm a people pleaser. I have found out I'm a people pleaser. I'm a fixer. and he was also. He was also. But then he decided, I don't want to be a people pleaser anymore. It's my life. I'm going to do now whatever I want. I already gave you the degree. He passed a test. That is, so that's how I'm like trying to struggle. I want to be supportive. And I told him, come and live with me. You have house and food. I'm also, the mother in me wants to give him also clothes and food, and he's my baby, but I know he's an adult. I don't want to enable him. Everybody, my ex is telling me, no, I'm not gonna give $1. You are an enabler. You are enabling him. He's gonna stay in your house forever. But I know it has been hard for him. He moved. His school was in Boston, and his friends are over there. He has a relationship. He wanted to get married. It didn't work out. So I really know that I need help trying to balance. How do I know I want to be supportive, but I don't want to. I also want him to go and do his life, right?
Yes, yes, so difficult. And most parents will relate to this because, especially us mothers, we tend to have a soft corner and we have a soft spot and we make excuses and we justify, oh, they're having a hard time. Oh, da. I do it all the time as well. Like I'm always making an excuse for my daughter. But I know that I'm lying, right? Because ultimately, we have to see reality for what it is. So you're saying you don't want to enable, but you're also saying, I really want to enable him, right? You want him to go out of the house and be independent, but you feel really bad. He's my baby. So you're saying two directly opposite things. And this is what the mother does. This is such a mother thing to do. Fathers typically don't do this. They're like, get out, go do your own thing. And that's really healthy in this aspect of parenting because we mothers so identify with this role that we can go on and on and on and on, and we can overdo it forever. So we are not healthy. We are not good yardsticks of when we need to end because in our fantasy, we will continue forever because our children are always our babies. So we need to realize that we must create an expiration date. We must say no more. Right? And you don't have to do it immediately, but you have to start priming your son to begin to use his own wings. So you can say, listen, I'm going to support you. And for the first 6 months, all the food and rent in my house is for free. After 6 months, I would like you to pay for half the food. After a year, I'd like you to pay for all the food that you use. And then after a year and a half, I'd like you to go and find your own place. See, that's a step-by-step graduation into adulthood. Now, a typical father would just say, go out right now. So we're giving you leeway because you're a mommy. And mommies have a soft heart and you're a people pleaser. So you're really, really going to have a hard time being assertive. Okay, so we work with who you are. But you have to create a plan because otherwise you're telling him that he never needs to be independent. And that's not healthy. His next future partner, girl or boy, is going to come and curse you and go, hello, did you not teach your son how to grow up? Because now he's clinging on to me. So she's going to be very unhappy if it's a girl.
Okay. And how do you decide, because he sometimes come back to me with the money thing, right? He knows he lived by himself for these 6 years. I was in Houston, he was in Boston. He worked all the time of these 6 years. He was having a job, and he also have it's a co-op at the university. So a year and a half, he has like an engineer. It was kind of an internship, but it was paid, and it was paid well. So during this year and a half of the 6 years, he paid for all his food, all his rent. There was no tuition. So, and he started lifeguarding when he was 16. So he is a worker, right? And now that he's here at home, I have also that dilemma because he is working in his YouTube. He's working, right? He's popping, he's doing his editing, his video.
So everything you're saying, I'm going to pause because everything you're saying is making a case for how amazing he is. And you have to get to the point. The point is that, no, Dr. Shefali, he's really amazing. He's a good worker because you're resisting what I'm saying to you, aren't you? Right? You're making excuses.
Yes. Okay. I'm just trying to evaluate how much the support, right?
I'll tell you a very easy way to evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
After 23, it's already getting too late. So I'm giving you 24. Okay, I'm giving you 25. I said 26. But you have to, you're already late.
Okay.
Now, if your child was suffering severe mental health issues, if your child had severe physical impairments, then we will extend the time limit. Because things need to happen somewhat according to a chronological timeline. I'm not rigid when I talk to parents, but within a range. And some things are developmentally healthy. At 15 to 17, they probably will try to have sex. They will probably tell you they hate you. They will probably try to run away a little bit. They will try to distance. They will find a gang. Those are normal teenage things to do. By 18 to 22, they go to college. They find their passion. They find their voice. They find a relationship. They drop. They dump. Okay, that's another stage. And then 23 to 28 is another stage where they begin to launch. And if we hold them back because of our inability to kick them out the door, then we are going to cripple them. We're going to cut their wings. So 23 to 28 is your next phase. He's already 1 year into the phase and not showing any plan. So he can keep working on YouTube. He can work on anything he wants. That's not your problem. The issue is he moving toward independence in a loving way, in a kind way? You can tell him he can go live on his own. You'll make him food every Sunday. Okay, you can help him once in a while. You don't have to cut him off cold turkey, but you have to start pushing these babies out. Otherwise, we make it too comfortable. And this is my greatest fear. My daughter's never going to leave. So whatever I'm telling you, I'm really telling myself. And all people pleaser parents out there, all mothers who are super achievers, super sweet, super kind, we will keep our children and their ex-wives. Everyone can come stay with us. And that's a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
So when you think about making a plan and gently teaching him that now we need to start to prepare to leave, what comes up for you? I can tell you one thing that must be coming up for you. Should I tell you?
Tell me.
Okay, two things. One is, what's the big deal, Dr. Shefali? Let him just live in my house. I have a big house. I'm on my own. Let him live with me. Does that come up for you?
That I know. And that's what my daughter is telling me. You are just happy that he's with you. Because then my daughter is going to graduate next year and I want a space for me also.
Yeah, all your children are going to never leave. And the second thing is you make excuses, right? You talk about the divorce. You feel guilty. The divorce guilt is huge. We overcompensate so much because of the guilt. But these things are going to hold you back. But more than you, it's going to hold him back, right?
Yes. I that's another thing. I'm asking him to look for a job close by, right? And I'm like, okay, take your time, but look around here, so you can still live with me, but go to work, real work.
Yeah. See, you are the issue here.
I know. That's why I really look. No, I know. And I love you, Joe, and you, because I know that I have to work on myself, right? I'm in progress. I'm still a lot to improve. And even though they are 24 and my daughter is 22,
yeah,
I know that with this time, right? Like the kids are coming back after, they are, for one time, they are living so much that we didn't live at that time. But now they want to come back.
But the reason they're coming back is because we as parents are making it too easy for them. We as parents are making it too comfortable for them. We are overcompensating beyond our role. You have finished your role as a mother, but you want to never finish your role as a mother. And that's a problem. And as long as you never let them grow up and you keep seeing them as your babies, you are going to actually limit their capacity to have their own families one day and to live their own lives, right? We have to start telling our children in their early 20s, now you're an adult, you'll always be my baby, but I cannot treat you like one anymore. You are now an adult. You are now mature. You need to start fending for yourself. Give a time limit. These are ways to help them discover who it is they are. And I think your greatest challenge is, who are you? You have to discover who you are without the role of mother. See, you're keeping them with you because that keeps you stuck. And so you never have to discover who you are.
That's, I have been like he just came back, but I know I'm in that step also. And like I said, I already know I'm a people pleaser and a fixer. Now I'm ATM.
Yes.
For my daughter.
Well, what you are the most is you are not loving yourself. Because actually, this is a distraction and a disguise so you don't have to love yourself. If you loved yourself and entered your own power, you would realize them staying with you is actually unhealthy for them and you're being selfish. But because you're missing your own self-love, you are clinging to them. We all do this. I 100% do this. I cling to my child because it gives me comfort, because I'm better as a mother than I'm on my own. We all do this. All people pleaser mothers do this. And I want to wake you up because I see in front of me a beautiful woman, a very smart woman, an intelligent woman, but she's going to stop herself because she's going to get distracted by her children and not allow herself to find love, to be beautiful, to be free. You are allowing your children to be these weights that are pulling you into the ocean. You need to fly, they need to fly.
Yeah. For that, I'm like, okay. I that's what I'm living my present moment, and I'm enjoying my present now moment how it is. I know that that's what I'm saying is 2 years and a year and a half. I'm gonna enjoy my moment with him, but I know I need to have my own things, and he's helping me also with that. He's putting his limit. He's very good now, putting his limits and
Good.
making me.
Good. You're going to find your way. In a year and a half, you should come back and give us an update and tell us if he's still
Maybe
living.
sooner. I think I'm gonna give you an update soon, because
Okay.
maybe it's gonna be sooner. I'm pretty sure he's gonna work out like that.
Okay.
Like I know it's coming. It's coming.
Good. I'm really, really proud of you. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much.
When I was listening to this mother, oh my goodness, I just had so many moments of my own parenting with my daughter, who's 21, about to graduate next year, come up in my consciousness, because I too, and I'm sure that many of you out there who experience this, feel this sense of panic of how do I allow my child to go out there and fly and soar the skies without feeling as if I'm rejecting them and pushing them out there? What is the line between showing up as a support, but also telling them, hey, get out, go do your own thing and leave me alone? And it is such a delicate balance. And I always come back to, what does the child need before me? And like I explained to this mother, there are all these phases, and we have to understand the developmental opportunities of their ages. And between 22 and 28, there is a very key developmental process that's happening, which is their autonomy, their sovereignty. They're practicing adulthood while their parents are still around for the safety net. But they must start to practice. And as long as they stay very close to us, they will enmesh with us and be over-dependent. All of this is to say that we parents need to learn to release our children into their own destiny. We need to learn that our role is to begin to prep them step by step, not in a abandoning, cruel, heartless way, but in a very proximal, step-by-step way, take them toward their final graduation of their childhood. Childhood needs to have an end place so that our children can begin to soar and fly as adults. And the biggest obstruction of our children's ability to fly is parental guilt, is parental enmeshment, parental anxiety. So all you parents who have children who are in their teens upward, remember, you are raising them to eventually live on their own and live out their own destiny. As hard as it is, this is the most important skill you can teach your children, which is how to be independent of you, how to not rely on you, but to rely on themselves, how to trust themselves and find their own way forward. If you found this episode useful, don't forget to subscribe. And remember, you can always be a guest. You just have to go to my website and fill up the guest form. I hope I see you on the next episode of Parenting and You with me, Dr. Shefali. Parenting and You with Dr. Shefali is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional medical, psychological, psychotherapeutic, coaching, healthcare, or other qualified professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment.